My best coach, they would say, helped me raise my awareness. She helped me see my larger patterns and the underlying beliefs and assumptions that inform them. Helped me stay on course with my changes and internal transitions, helped me gain different perspectives and reframe situations, focus upon my strengths, often reflecting back to me an even larger version of me than I myself saw. Let me learn rather than telling me, find my own answer, increasing my sense of trusting myself and my own capabilities. Continually asked me to make commitments, to be accountable, to choose and be responsible for my choices. Encouraged the engagement of both my heart and my head. Deeply listened to me, modeling empathy and respect. Called out my creativity, encouraged and even cajoled me as needed. Did not shy away from giving me difficult feedbacks and the truth as they saw it. Asked me great questions and knew when to be quiet. Over time, I realized two important things about this list of coaching qualities. So many hundreds of people had consistently agreed upon. The very best coaching to ourselves and to others should model these 12 characteristics and qualities. Great poems have the same characteristics as great coaches. I began to realize that great poems are even alive in a certain way, capable of providing different kinds of experiences, just like a coach does, depending upon who's being coached. Even for the same person, two different readings, a few days, weeks, or months apart, often yielded different levels of experience and support. As I continue to think about poetry in this way, experimenting with using poems in my coaching practice and in especially poetry based talks, I became increasingly encouraged. The poems became the way to stretch the coaching, to enhance it, to concentrate and make it last. Poetry, after all, could be employed at any time at no cost and in very brief and convenient increments. In other words, I began to clearly see that the great poems were a true coaching and leadership tool for the 21st century. Tell a wise person or else keep silent. I often start my poetry talks on the subject of change or transition by declaring that perhaps the first change management coach, after all, the holy longing. Tell a wise person or else keep quiet, for those who do not understand will mock it right away. I praise what is truly alive, what longs to be burned to death. And so long as you haven't experienced this, to die and to grow, you are only a troubled guest on the dark earth. To experience what? Asks this poem. Profound change, the poem answers. Here we begin to see the tipping point of change. When we set out to make a critical change in our lives, we are entering a whole new beginning. Right, wrong, or at least wrong for some initial period of the time. One of the most critical yet counterintuitive aspect of the change and transition process, we all must come to the grips with its laws. No matter what kind of change we are working with, it is the first stop on our transition journey. Of course, when the change is extremely significant and not chosen, such as the loss of the relationship, job, or an extreme case of loss of a loved one through death, we are able to clearly see how this type of change begins and loss. But what about the changes we choose? Yes, they come with a loss as well, if nothing else. The loss of confidence, familiarity, that routine. I recall many years ago, just after graduating from college and making a decision to move to San Francisco, Bay Area from North Carolina. Having fallen deeply in love with the area, I was totally dazzled about the mall. So, what was a loss? I was suddenly thousands of miles from family and old friends. It was still the right move, but the loss I felt was so very real. Let's look at the first few lines of Mary. The journey for a bit of fine and skillful coaching inside. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble. Often our best coaches help us validate what we are experiencing as we move through the change process. They help us discover the questions and language we need to move fully into our own unique change process. Do you sense this poem doing that? Do you feel the poem understands something seminal about the change process, especially what the changes our choosing? Wow. Determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to love the only life you could save. Points for coaching skillful transitions. treat people as if they were what they ought to be, and you help them to become what they are capable of being. Where do you go to get your answers question? Consultant who wrote to some of the best. It isn't the change that do you end, it is the transition. What does this mean? Bridges gives example. Change is situational. The move to a new site, the retirement of the founder, the reorganization of the roles of the team, the revisions of the pension plan, etc. Transition, on the other hand, is psychological. It is the three-phase process that people go through as they internalize and come to terms with the details of the new situation that changes this brings. The first phase is mentioned is the ending, losing, and letting go stage. Putting change under the microscope reveals that there is always loss and a need to let go of what was before. The second phase is called the neutral zone, is characterized by the old being gone, while the new has not yet fully emerged. Because if it is out of the desert quality, this stage is equally a very precious period. In the change process out, we are reverting back to the old ways of being and doing is always lurking. And finally, the last stage is actually the new beginning. What is that time when the new identity is finally in place, the new purpose felt, and the new ways incorporated? Fortunately, there are many wise poems for each phase to change process. Of all the poems I love and regularly use as a self-coaching tools for others, I have myself poem. William Stanford, for me, ardent league of their own. For example, look, no one ever promised for sure that we would sing. We have decided to mourn in a strange dance, that the mind makes up the world and then claim it did not. It is time for all the heroes to go home if they have any time, for all of us common ones to look at ourselves by the real things we live by. Of course, every person I coach is different, but I have found any common threads in what people seem to need most while being coached through a significant change and transition. It is called the way of connect the heart to the often long and hard road of significant change, especially as the line of the poem suggests, that we all manage to do is standing in the desert of our change process and mourn. Thankfully, we have a big, bold, and inspiring language we need in the poems of the great artists. What about our own change and transition? So for you, that is the flux. As I began to love myself, self-love poems. As I began to love myself, I found that anguish and emotional suffering are only warning signs that I was living against my own truth. Today, I know this is authenticity. As I began to love myself, I understand how much it can offend somebody as I tried to force my desire on this person, even though I knew the time was not right and the person was not ready for it. And even though this person was me, today I call it respect. As I began to love myself, I stopped craving for the different life, and I would see that everything that surrounded me was inviting me to grow. Today, I call it maturity. As I began to love myself, I understand that any circumstances, I am in the right place at the right time, and everything happens at the exactly right moment, so I could be calm. Today, I call it self-confidence. As I began to love myself, I quit stealing my own time, and I stopped designing huge projects for the future. Today, I only do what brings me joy and happiness and things I love to do, and that makes my heart cheer. And I do them in my own way and in my own rhythm. Today I call it simplicity. As I began to love myself, I freed myself of anything that is no good for my health, food, people, things, situations, and everything that drew me down and away from myself. At first, I called this attitude a healthy egoism. Today, I know it is love of oneself. As I began to love myself, I quit trying to always be right, and ever since I was wrong less of the time, today I discovered that is modesty. As I began to love myself, I refused to go on living in the past and worry about the future. Now I live only for the moment where everything is happening. Today I live each day, day by day, and I call it fulfillment. As I began to love myself, I recognized that my mind can disturb me and it can make me sick, and I connected it to my heart. My mind became a valuable ally. Today I call this connection wisdom of the heart. We no longer need to fear arguments, confrontations, or any kind of problems with ourselves or others. Even stars collide and out of their crashing, new worlds are born. Today I know that is life. As I began to love myself. As I began to love myself, I found that anguish and emotional suffering are only warning signs that I was living against my own truth. Today I know this is authenticity. As I began to love myself, I understand how much it can afford somebody if I try to force my desire on this person, even though I knew the time was not right and the person was not ready for it, and even though this person was me. Today I call it respect. As I began to love myself, I stopped craving for a different life, and I could see that everything that surrounded me was inviting me to grow. Today I call it maturity. As I began to love myself, I understand that in my circumstances, I am at the right place at the right time, and everything happens at exactly right moment. So I call be calm. Today I call it self-confidence. As I began to love myself, I quit stealing my own time and I stopped designing huge projects for the future. Today I only do what brings me joy and happiness, things I love to do and that makes my heart cheer, and I do them in my own way and I in my own rhythm. Call it simplicity. As I began to love myself, I freed myself of anything that is of no good for my health, food, people, things, situations, and everything that drew me down and away from myself. At first, I called this attitude a healthy egoism. Today, I know it is love of oneself. As I began to love myself, I quit trying to always be right, and ever since I was wrong, less of the time, today I discovered this is modesty. As I began to love myself, I refused to go on living in the past and worrying about the future. Now, if I only live for the moment where everything is happening today, I live each day, day by day, and call it fulfillment. As I began to love myself, I recognized that my mind can disturb me and it can make me sick. But as I connected it to my heart, my mind became a valuable Ali. Today I call this connection wisdom of the heart. We no longer need to fear arguments, confrontations, or any kind of problems with ourselves or others. Even stars collide, and out of their crashing, new worlds are born. Today I know this is life. What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and an affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critic and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even when life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. You can be whatever you want to be. There is inside you all of the potential to be whatever you want to be, all of the energy to do whatever you want to do. Imagine yourself as you would like to be, doing what you want to do. And each day take one step towards your dream, and though at times it may seem too difficult to continue, hold on to your dream. One morning you will awake to find that you are the person you dreamed of, doing what you wanted to do simply because you had the courage to believe in your potential and to hold on to your dream, a creed to live by. Don't undermine your worth by comparing yourself with others. It is because we are different that each of us is special. Don't set your goals on what other people deem important. Only you know what is best for you. Don't take for granted the things closest to your heart. Cling to that as you would your life, for without them, life is meaningless. Don't let your life slip through your fingers by living in the past or the future. By living your future one day at a time, you live all the days of your life. Don't give up. When you still have something to give, nothing is really over until the moment you stop trying. Don't be afraid to admit that you are less than perfect. It is a fragile thread that binds us to each other. Don't be afraid to encounter risk. It is by taking chances that we learn how to behave, be brave. Don't shut love out of your life by saying it is impossible to find. The quickest way to receive love is to give love. The fastest way to lose love is to hold on too tightly, and the best way to keep love is to give it wings. Don't dismiss your dreams. To be without dreams is to be without hope. To be without hope is to be without purpose. Don't run through life so fast that you forget where you have been, but also know where you are going. Life is not a race, but a journey to be savored every step of the way. The challenge. Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. My comfort zone. I used to have a comfort zone when I knew I wouldn't fail. The same for walls and the busy work were always more like jail. I longed so much to do the things I've never done before, but I stayed inside my comfort zone and paced the same old floor. I said it didn't matter what I wasn't doing much. I said I don't care for the things like commission checks and such. I claimed to be so busy with the things inside my zone, but deep inside I longed for something special of my own. I couldn't let my life go by just watching others win. I held my breath. I stepped outside and let the change begin. I took a step with new strength I had never felt before. I kissed my comfort zone goodbye and closed and locked the door. If you are in comfort zone and afraid to venture out, remember that all winners were at one time filled with doubt. A step into and words of praise can make your dreams come true. Reach for your future with a smile. Success is there for you. Plain old oyster. There was an oyster whose story I would tell, who found that some sand had gotten into his shell. It was only a grain, but gave him a great pain. For oysters have feelings, although they are plain. Now did he buried the harsh working of the fate they had brought him to such a deplorable state? No, he said to himself, since I cannot improve it, remove it, I'll lie in my shell and think how to improve it. And years rolled around as the years always do, and he came to his ultimate destiny, stew. Now the small grain of the sand that had bothered him so was a beautiful pearl for richly aglow. The still has a moral, for isn't it grand what an oyster can do with a morsel of sand? Think what could we do if we would only begin with some of the things that get under our skin. Believe in yourself. There may be days when you get up in the morning and things aren't the way you hope they would be. That's when you have to tell yourself that things will get better. There are times when people disappoint you and let you down. But those are the times when you must remind yourself to trust your own judgments and opinions, to keep your life focused on believing in yourself and all that you are capable of. There will be challenges to face and changes to make in your life, and it is up to you to accept them constantly. Keep yourself headed in the right direction for you. It may not be easy at times, but in those times of struggles, you will find a stronger sense of who you are. So when the days come that are filled with frustration and unexpected responsibilities, remember to believe in yourself and all you want in your life to be, because the challenges and the changes will come only help you to find the goals that you know are meant to come true for you. Keep believing in yourself. Life is an opportunity. Benefit from it. Life is beauty. Admire it. Life is a dream. Realize it. Life is a challenge. Meet it. Life is a duty. Complete it. Life is a game played. Life is a promise. Fulfill it. Life is a sorrow. Overcome it. Life is a song. Sing it. Life is a struggle. Accept it. Life is a tragedy. Confront it. Life is an adventure. Dare it. Life is luck. Make it. Life is too precious. Do not destroy it. Life is life. Fight for it. Leaders empower individuals for building trust and coaching competence in their job roles and networking skills. Coaches are aware of how to ignite passion and motivation people. They have an energy that is contagious and know exactly how to get their team excited. Leadership is a matter of having people look at you and gain confidence, seeing how you react. If you are in control, they are in control. Good human relation skills have the ability to change people from managing others to leading others. I realized that life was much more to offer than I had anticipated and decided to help others in their human journey. Thus, I became a trainer and a coach with passion for transformation. People don't only use a coach when there's a problem with their technique. They understand that no matter how good their technique is, there is always room for improvement. As coaches, we equip people to be in touch with their best selves. So why? The complexities change, the work of coaching stays the same. Keep your clients at the center of the work, push them to use their strengths more and to temper their weakness and illuminate blind spots, because these are what really get in the way. The best coaches know what the end results look like, whether it is an offensive play, a defensive coverage, or just some idea of organization. Good coaching is good teaching and nothing else. Everything in coaching hinges on listening, because we are listening for effects that we are speaking from and unfolds how we are being with and for each other. What I learned, as if a coach lacks sufficient persistence, he will be unable to complete the critical task of finding growth opportunities out of adversity. A coach is someone who can give correction without causing resentment. When it comes to getting the best out of life, whether in our own life or from your team, there is no doubt that good coaching can play a pivotal role. Getting it right is about learning how to motivate yourself and others in a way that works. It means listening to yourself and others rather than just speaking at them. The good coach knows that they may not have all the answers. As life design coach, I'm passionate about changing lives. I have learned through my own self-discovery work that sharing authenticity is the best way to make a real difference in others. Coaching is a unique process of human development, one that works to change a person's life for a better and help him her achieve a number of specific objectives. Now, coaching is basically like what it is someone that you have that is working with another person to help the other person's goal. The power of coaching is this: you are expected to give people the path to find answers, not the answers. Success coaches are visionaries. They have a picture of success set in their minds. An evolutionary coach needs to instill 5 qualities in their clients to support them on the journey to full self-realization, adaptability, emergent learning, the ability to bond, the ability to cooperate, and the ability to manage complexity. I played catcher on the baseball team, a leadership position, but during these years that I was busy being a leader at my high school, I never thought about it. What it meant to be a leader was more. No adult ever mentored, taught, or coached me in the practice and principles of leadership. A good coach can change a game, a great coach can change a life. Life is constantly bringing us challenges and opportunities. When we have a courage to step into the challenge and seize the opportunities, we move forward. As a coach, we can help others make this kind of a progress. Coach in the office do not teach accountants how to balance ledger books, and they do not aim to teach secretaries how to use the letterheads. No, rather they have a way of beginning to a sort of informal conversation between them and the employees where they get to appreciate the prevailing challenges. A good coach passes on information quickly. They do not hold back information that affects my job. As a coach, your job is to set the bar high, inspire them to reach this bar, encourage them, and most of all, guide them in the best possible manner and the most supportive environment. In a coaching role, you ask the questions and rely more on your staff. You become the experts to provide the information. Coaching is 90% attitude, 10% technique. Coaches are the people they coach know that for the future to be different, we need to change the way we do the things in the present. More often, the change involves shifts in attitude, thinking, perceptions, and behavior. The actual awareness that the person opposite you is an entire world and isn't lacking anything, and that you yourself are the entire world, allows you to coach him and to think about him in a positive way from a place of reality and abundance. Coaches have to watch for what they don't want to see and listen to what they don't want to hear. I never cease to be amazed at the power of the coaching process to draw out the skills and the talents that was previously hidden within an individual and which invariably finds a way to solve a problem previously thought unsolvable. Team coaches can help teams to improve how they manage their collective emotions, well-being, and learn how to moderate their responses to success and setbacks. Make sure that team members know they are working with you, not for you. The best teacher is the one who suggests rather than dogmatizes and inspire his listeners with a wish to teach himself. Probably my best quality as coach is that I ask a lot of challenging questions and let the person come up with the answer. A good coach will always make his players see what they can be rather than what they are. Make no mistake that you change your leadership style to one of a coach, you will face challenges. There will be times when you question, why am I doing this? However, you must at all times keep the long-term benefits of being a coach at the forefront of your mind. People will exceed targets they set themselves. A taste of a good coach is that when they leave, others will carry on successfully. Coaching might have stayed in the realm of the sports and entertainment had it not moved into the corporate world a few decades ago. Faced with the unsettling impact of galloping change, rapid technological changes, and the tidal wave of information glut, business leaders begin to see that no one person could keep abreast of everything. The manager needs to have a coaching mindset, looking for opportunities to help others learn. A coach and the coaching relationship must be one that is the foundation of trust that can allow the coaching dialogue to take place. I realized that life has much more to offer than I've had practice and decided to help others in the human journey. Thus, I became a trainer and a coach with passion and transformation. Passion for transformation. You get the best effort from others not by lighting a fire beneath them, but by building a fire within. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. With respect to my coach, some people like flashy titles and names. They like goals and openings more than practices and games. There are princes and kings, but I deserve the most gratitude and respect for the one I call coach. The lessons that I have learned sitting in a class such as grammar, science, and even math will come in handy one day, I'm sure. From you have learned to work hard and endure, but taught me to learn from defeat and how to push myself to win. Because of you, coach, I have learned how to live. Thank you, coach. You taught me determination. You gave me the skills you to persist in life's game, and for that I'll always give thanks for you, and look back and boast that I had the privilege of calling you coach. For a coach who saw more in me, more than I thought I could ever be, who taught me to discipline this mind and the body I'm in, who raised expectations and dreams beyond just an athletic scheme, beyond normal endurance, beyond myself and never since, I'm a better person for it because you taught me not to quit. To my cheer coach, you taught us to practice, focus, and be part of the team, to work hard for goals and reach forward dreams beyond myself and ever since. We have all shared laughter, sweat, and tears, and in the name of the noble art of the cheer. Kilmore cares not to who comes nigh, but with a calm and curious eye, she sees the swift cars speeding by. This turns again to labor, and she's content to plod along. With now a sigh, with things go wrong, and now a smile and now a song, or gossip with a neighbor, her mind dwells often in the past. The roaring days that could not last, when bad mind travelled not so fast, and all the world was bigger. She saw the coaches clatter down to pause at her important town. With loud voice ventures strong and down, and many a bread and digger. She saw the eager traffic flow up the road to Bedico, with talk of many a golden shore finds and fields exciting, but wisely she contrived to hold a treasure greater far than gold, than her rich pasture lands unfold a scene far more inviting. She smiles to dream of those old days of hardy men and the hectic ways when maddened by the golden grace men sought their fortunes blindly, but she who chose the better part of patient toil and the simple art lives on content of mind and heart, and generously and kindly. She, so wealthy now, she sits at ease in this kind land of fields and trees, ignoring all our Philippenses and modern fads and crazes. And we are all buildings tumbling down, leave scars about the ancient town, the hasty